And welcome, boys and girls around the world, especially to you. I knew you would show up. I was hoping you would show up. You are my smart viewer. And so I'm going to share with you the smartest things I can come up with. And I'm assuming you're an American, but perhaps you're a European with, a cultural connection to America so you can understand the American point of view, the American outlook on the world. So, from the point of view of America, we have been taken over by communists, which are crazy people, lunatics, moonbats. Everything they want to do is counterproductive to the interest of the United States and the world. And it fits hand in glove with the agenda of various dictators, whether it be Putin. Putin's a dictator, face it. The ruling party or dictator of China, whoever that is. I don't speak Chinese, and they change from time to time. Doesn't really matter the name. There's a dictator in Iran. It's a supposed holy man who took over from Khomeini, and he installs in various offices his patrons. It's a theocracy based on a perverted, twisted Islamic version of Judaism. What they did is took Judaism with a lot of its doctrines and ideas, like circumcision. Why in the world would you want to circumcise little boys? And you can't be a Muslim unless you're circumcised. That's strange to me. But a lot of religions are variations of previous religions. I was once ensnared in a religion that after it dissolved, after I was booted out and the religious cult dissolved of its own, and I finally became gradually free over a course of years, I found that, lo and behold, the little cult that I was stuck in, trapped in, hypnotized by, brainwashed by, was simply a variation of the Jehovah's Witnesses. So probably religions are varieties of larger, the varieties of several broad categories of religions. And I'm not against religion. I am agnostic. I'm not hostile toward religion unless the religion tries to force itself upon me. And of course, anybody would be hostile to that. But if somebody wants to practice their religion in private or in their community, that's fine with me. Religion has a positive influence, like stabilizing society, producing order, conformity, uniformity, and but there's enough variety around the world that we're sufficiently different that change has an opportunity to manifest itself. From the point of view of America, okay, so we're under the thumb of the communist idiots, the insane people, and I'm hoping that we will break free of these idiots in the coming election cycles. I'm hoping that the conservatives will gain control of the Senate and the House. It's not for certain at all, because the dumbtards, the idiots, the communists are extremely well organized, and they have a tight hold on power, controlling the media, for example, and controlling the education system and entertainment, and even to a large extent so-called science. And you have to realize that science is the product of scientists, which are people, and people are fallible and subject to changing their outlooks and subject to being trapped in an outlook that's erroneous. I make videos all the time bashing Einstein, calling the believers in relativity idiots, robots, mindless drones who simply regurgitate what they're told to believe. None of them can refute me. I'm not really concerned about relativity. I'm concerned that nobody can refute me. It does sound to me that speed would affect your clock. That sounds funny to me. But how do I know? I don't really know. I don't know if gravity will affect your clock. It doesn't seem like it would. And it seems to me that time is what it is. It's however you want to measure it. If you chose to measure time with an atomic clock that is accurate to the billionth of a second, and you produced 10 of these identical atomic clocks, tested them to prove their accuracy, and protected them so that they could not be influenced by electromagnetic radiation or bouncing around, shock, disturbance, humidity, whatever, protected them so that they would remain stable and reliable for a period of time under different conditions. And you put some of these clocks in motion as fast as you could, in some kind of a space probe, going as fast as you could make it go. You could only receive an update on the time of the clock inside the space probe via radio waves, and you would have to realize, of course, that radio waves require time to transit the distance, and so your news, the news of the time, your timely news would be delayed. Because of that, you take that into account. But you could soon determine if variations in gravity and speed affected that atomic clock, and I theorized that it would not. I theorized that clocks are what they are, they do what they do, they tick, 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 tick. If they got a pendulum, swinging back and forth. If they got a spring, you wind up and make the thing go tickety, 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 move all the little gears inside, tickety, tickety. Time's not affected by speed and gravity. The clock might be affected by gravity or electromagnetic influences or heat, these type of things, but time itself, your measuring device might be affected by a number of things, but time itself is kind of a mental concept. We tend to relate time to the motion of the earth relative to the sun. It's how we have come to measure our concept of time. And you could use radioactive decay of some predictable element that burps out so many protons a second, or some method, a light clock, assuming that the speed of light is constant. I don't know if it's constant or not, but assuming that it's constant, you could have a light pulse shine some distance to a mirror and reflect to a sensor, which would count the reception of that light pulse and trigger the second pulse, which would bounce off the mirror, hit the sensor, and you should have a clock that runs relative to the speed of light, however far your mirrors were your mirror was apart from your sensor and your source, but it should be accurate. Even if the speed of light is not constant, it's fairly constant. It's constant enough. So I'm thinking that the communards, the dumbtards, the idiots, the lunatics, the moonbats might be driven from power. And so being an old man, I'm wanting to sock away an investment for my old age so I can buy groceries and continue to enjoy electricity and peace and quiet. And so assuming and hoping and wishing that the dumbtards will be driven from power, I'm intending to invest my money in coal, C-O-A-L, coal companies, and uranium producing companies, energy fuels, for example. Coal company could be any of them. They're down tremendously right now. Peabody, just look up Peabody and whoever is the peer. There's one coal company, thinking of its name, it's way up, and I have no understanding of why in the world this one would be way up when the usual ones are way down. Westmoreland is way up, and I don't know why. Most coal companies are down. So I'm hoping that things will turn for the better in the next decade, and I'm hoping that the world will make use of coal and uranium to generate electricity.